The wind howled a mournful dirge, a constant gnawing presence that clawed at the edges of sanity. Dr. Aris Thorne, a seasoned botanist, huddled deeper into his threadbare parka, the biting Arctic air seeping through his layers like icy tendrils. He and his two remaining colleagues, Lena and Marcus, were stranded. Their research outpost, a prefabricated bubble of warmth and technology, had been ripped apart by a blizzard of unprecedented ferocity. Their mission, to study the unique bioluminescent flora of this isolated Arctic valley, had turned into a desperate struggle for survival. The valley, a hidden pocket of geothermal activity, was a lush anomaly in the frozen wasteland, a vibrant, pulsating ecosystem that pulsed with an otherworldly glow. But the beauty was a deceptive mask, a siren's call that had lured them into a nightmare. It had started subtly. The plants, usually radiating a soft, ethereal light, began to pulse with an erratic, almost frantic rhythm. The air, once crisp and clean, thickened with a cloying sweetness, an unsettling floral perfume that made their heads spin. Then, the animals started to change. The normally docile Arctic foxes, their white fur stained with an unnatural green luminescence, became aggressive, their eyes burning with a feral, malevolent intelligence. The first casualty was Dr. Chen, a quiet, meticulous mycologist. He had ventured out to collect samples, his headlamp a solitary beacon in the swirling snow. He never returned. They found his torn parka and a trail of luminescent green blood leading into the dense, phosphorescent undergrowth. Lena, a young, ambitious biologist, had initially dismissed the changes as a natural anomaly, a temporary fluctuation in the ecosystem. But the escalating violence and the growing sense of unease had eroded her scientific detachment. Marcus, a weathered survival expert, his face etched with the harsh lines of the Arctic, had been the first to voice their shared fear. Something was terribly, fundamentally wrong. The blizzard had trapped them, cutting off their communication with the outside world. The outpost, once a sanctuary, now felt like a fragile cage. The plants, their bioluminescence now a menacing, pulsating green, seemed to watch them, their tendrils reaching out like grasping claws. One night, the wind reached a fever pitch, a cacophony of shrieks and howls that rattled the remnants of their shelter. The ground trembled, and the air thrummed with a low, resonant hum. Lena, her eyes wide with terror, pointed towards the valley. The bioluminescent plants were pulsating in unison, their light growing brighter, more intense, casting long, distorted shadows that danced and writhed like phantoms. From the depths of the valley, a colossal form emerged, a silhouette against the blinding green glow. It was a creature of impossible size, a grotesque amalgamation of plant and animal, its body covered in writhing, luminous tendrils, its eyes two burning orbs of emerald light fixed on the outpost. Marcus, his voice hoarse with fear, whispered, "It's the heart of the valley, the thing that controls it all." The creature moved with terrifying speed, its tendrils lashing out, tearing through the remaining walls of the outpost like paper. The air filled with the sickening crunch of metal and the screams of Lena. Aris, his mind reeling with horror, watched as the creature's tendrils enveloped Lena, her screams cut short by a wet, gurgling sound. He scrambled for his emergency kit, his hands trembling. He found a flare gun, its red flare a desperate beacon in the overwhelming green. He fired, the flare arcing into the night, a brief defiant spark against the encroaching darkness. The creature turned its attention to him, its eyes burning with malevolent intent. Aris knew he couldn't outrun it. He could only hope to buy himself a few precious moments. He grabbed a canister of concentrated plant fertilizer, a last-ditch attempt at defense. As the creature's tendrils reached for him, he hurled the fertilizer, the liquid spraying across the creature's luminous body. The creature recoiled, its tendrils hissing and writhing in pain. The fertilizer, designed to accelerate plant growth, seemed to have the opposite effect on the creature, causing its luminous flesh to wither and decay. Aris seized the opportunity, scrambling through the wreckage of the outpost. He found a snowmobile, its engine miraculously intact. He fired the engine, the roar a defiant challenge to the creature's silent menace. He sped away, the snowmobile leaving a trail of black tracks in the blinding green snow. He glanced back, the creature a dark, writhing mass in the distance, its luminous body flickering and fading. He knew it wouldn't be long before it recovered. He drove through the night, the wind a constant biting presence. He didn't know where he was going, only that he had to escape the valley, escape the heart of the darkness that pulsed within it. He knew that the valley held a secret, a terrifying truth about the interconnectedness of life, a truth that humanity was never meant to discover. He also knew with a chilling certainty that he would never truly escape the memory of the luminous green horror that had consumed his colleagues and shattered his understanding of the natural world. The wildness had revealed its true, terrifying face, and it would forever haunt his dreams.